Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your master of martial arts and the host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today is Saturday, and it is Shaolin Saturday, and we are going to be talking about someone who does have a connection to the Shaolin Temple, at least in Enter the Dragon he did. And we will get around to his real movies, but we are going to be talking about the compilation movie released in 1974 of 4 episodes of The Green Hornet, called The Green Hornet. But you'll notice who has top billing here, which is Kato, not surprisingly. It was released after his death in 1973, apparently upon the suggestion of a 10-year-old, son of producer Lawrence Wachim, to license the rights for The Green Hornet and turn it into two feature-length movies. This was the first one. It's the only one I can find to watch. The other one is Fury of the Dragon. And it was the fifth grossing Bruce Lee film ever, which, since he made 5-ish, well, 4.5 if you generously count Game of Death, yeah, as a Bruce Lee movie, which I really don't, because it's not very good aside from his parts. But this actually makes it a higher grossing one. So, having said all that, let's get right into this. Please like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment about this compilation movie and what you think of it. I'd really love to see that. So, let's roll, Kato.
Another challenge for the Green Hornet, his aide Kato, and their rolling arsenal, the Black Beauty. On police records, a wanted criminal, the Green Hornet is really Britt Reed, owner-publisher of the Daily Sentinel. His dual identity known only to his secretary and to the district attorney. And now, to protect the rights and lives of decent citizens, rides the Green Hornet.
They really put the minimum amount of effort into this movie. Here's one of the things they did change is highlighting Bruce Lee's involvement. He is billed above everybody else here. But other than that, they did one other thing that I could tell and a couple of minor things, which you'll find out. This won't be a long review. The picture's pretty good. It came from the DVD that was released here in the States. I don't remember when, probably in the early 2000s. I just don't remember. I had a copy of it and sold it because it was nice to see at the time because it was the only legit, and still is only the only legit review release of the Green Hornet movie series. Anyway, the Green Hornet movie is a story in and of itself, which I probably won't be reviewing because I just don't want to watch it again. But we start out here and we get to the hunters and the hunted. I forget which one it is. They try to highlight Kato as much as possible by adding a bunch of extra fight scenes in there, which work kind of ish if you haven't just watched the entire run of the series like we have. So, this sounded dubbed ADR that was dubbed into me. Now, maybe I'm wrong. It could have just been in the show, but I'm not going back to watch it. So we all know what's going on here. These three guys there's 3 hunters trying to clean up whatever city the Hornet is operating in. And, we get a lot of stuff here. Hornet sting. And then they add a couple extra fight scenes, just walking into opening doors and fighting people. And then we get back to the original story. And then we get another added scene where he beats up a guard. So, and here's the villains of the first. It's very episodic, and they don't even try. Really, they could. I mean, both Van Williams and uh, Wendy Wagner were alive. Probably some of the other ones, they could have done some interstitials, something to bridge them a little better. Like, oh, but oh, let's hope that they don't find out that this other group that we're having to deal with right now, and then we'll get on to the next one. Easy peasy, but that would have cost money, and yet it made a ton of money. So why would they? I mean, what do I know? So there's Britt trying to join the explore. We've been through all this. Mostly, I just wanted to see. It's Kato gives him the dot jong here because there's no security in the house, and there's just the picture is better generally. If it came from right from the DVD, it probably would even have been better. But this is what we're gonna have to do. It's a trap. They know it. Tripwires, the gas, boot to the head, and back to the head. So Kato beats up some more people. Okay, so the picture isn't that great, but it is what it is. They laughed at him. He's hoisted by his own petard. And now we're getting to the 25th and 26th episodes, Invasion from Outer Space, or whatever it's called. And it's not really. But I really just dig Casey's outfit here. And there we go. So dig the old time. I mean, geez, it's got a turntable in it and a radio, probably a television. Kaboom! Here they come. Vama zaps him. This is a good story, good storyline. 2 episodes, 2-parter. It works well. I forgot that she talked in it, but she's very logical. And then she zaps him again. Now, those effects probably cost him a little more money, but they knew that they were probably not getting renewed, so they didn't care. They wake up, and Air Force convoy trucking on through the night. They got a great big convoy. Well, if you know, you know, right? He's got his drink in his hand, the crazy prof. Casey has her transmitter on and tucks it into I am assuming that's a pocket, because if it wasn't a pocket, why wouldn't he have felt it if he sat down in the car? There's the control device for the H-bomb. Once again, Casey shows her brilliance and just throws a drink on electronics. Smart move, smart girl. Hides, drives away. She drives really well. She's obviously been taught by Kato, who's a phenomenal, probably a race car driver as well as a mechanic, and just obviously the martial artist. They go running around, and now we get to this part, which will come in handy. Spread out, you onion heads. Casey gets caught, and while the Hornet beats them up, then Kato shows up. Okay, now Kato shows up, and he just wipes him out. Then he runs in there, and we're meant to assume this guy, who is the firebug from a previous episode, which just edited right in here, because he's wearing silver pajamas, an asbestos suit, and then we're back to the story. Another part that didn't have anything to do, but it gave Kato some more screen time. And I have expressed my desire that I sure wish they would have given Kato more screen time in broad daylight, and a Blu-ray release would probably solve all that problem. So the Black Beauty can go silent running, but they get caught. As we know, the vibrant meter is very vibrant. This guy's a loser. He bails out and gets killed. This guy has second thoughts. Hornet grabs him, and they turn around. They're still looking. There's the bomb again. And the Hornet jumps aboard. You can kind of see his stunt double, jumping onto the truck, which is cool. But again, it's so dark, I had to get rid of the picture because you couldn't see anything. Kato's still driving. Once again, electricity would not work that way. A laser would, but it makes for a great effect and puts her out of the picture. Bad guys are captured. I'm assuming that they sent the professor back to Arkham Asylum. And now we go into the final one, which is the Mantis episode, which does highlight Bruce Lee. It's a good one to end on. No interstitial here as to why. It just fades from one to the other. And sometimes it doesn't even fade, it just cuts. The cuts to the new fight scenes or the additional fight scenes are just very abrupt. The first time I saw this movie, I didn't notice so much because I hadn't seen the original series in quite some time. And the best we had was 16 millimeter dupes, which were, probably second or third generation by the time I got to them. But Kato knows the Golden Lotus. And there's our villain, Mako. They beat up the owner and run away. He jumps Kato and gets the drop on him. Smart move, showing that he's powerful enough to at least surprise Kato. Throws him in the trash can, which just pisses him off. And there's our wonderful, wonderful Gary Owens as the newscaster, who's uncredited. And he's got the clicker there in his hand. Everybody had a clicker from their Zenith TVs. Kato's like, I want the Kung Fu guy. He says that with a softer G than instead of a hard one. Kung Fu or Kung Fu. It's very easy, but that's very Cantonese. And the Japanese-born Mako, who did have a black belt in karate and probably had unagi, except that he picked a fight with Bruce Lee. So he's showing off his Chow Gar, which is pretty accurate for the most part. I'm assuming that Bruce had a hand in this. I said that the last time. Here's his ostensible boss, the villain of the piece of this episode. They don't like each other. And there's the Choyan Tong, which, tongs and triads are interesting things if you watch a lot of kung fu movies. And we got Mike right there who sees it and goes back to tell Britt, and off they go. And then they wander into a whole different episode. I mean, it's kind of flowery, so maybe they thought it would fit. Kato gets to beat up a bunch of people. And then another scene from another episode. They get to beat up a bunch more people. And there's a nice flying kick there, which we do see in. Did I put that in here? Well, I will have to. Yes, I did. I'm pretty sure I did. And if not, let's just find out before we get to the finale. Another shot of Gary, who all the voice actors that were in a panel I saw him with said he was the nicest man in the world, and he literally was. He remembered me. I was happy. I'm glad I got to meet him and got his autograph. Great man. Voice of Space Ghost. I'll just leave that there in case Lilith does get this far. If you can, I hope you have. So here's our second, another interstitial. This, I don't even know what. There's no explanation, like he's part of the Tong or anything. They go through the whole gassing him and brainwashing him, and then Kato backhands him, and they go right back to the praying mantis. So it was the cheapest way to make a movie ever, and it made money. So why would they do anything else? I mean, the desire to see Bruce Lee on the big screen was huge in '74. Hence all the Bruce Lee clones. They're watching the news. Kato just comes in. It looks like he's kneeing him right in the family jewels. These two are ready to fight. I mean, you can't get a drop on a guy who's looking at you. So off they go to the meeting. The Hornet Sting takes care of a gun, which I'm not quite sure. It works on wood and metal. Go figure. Gets them out, and off they go inside. Now, I wonder, this must have been a set, but that's a lot of dressing for a set. And here's the Tong, and Mako says, or Wing Ho. No, not Wing Ho. It's Lao Zi or somebody. Sorry, Mako. I don't remember just what your name is. But, geez, he's got to be in here. He's a big Lo Sing. And the fight Hornet takes out a couple. Bruce takes out some henchmen. Well, Kato does. And then they challenge each other. The salute. And it's a pretty short fight, but by this time they're running out of time in 25 minutes. And obviously that is a stunt double. That is not Mako. I would assume somebody Bruce knew. Jean LaBelle is in one of these episodes. Judo Jean LaBelle, which is who Bruce had a match with, and Quentin Tarantino decided to make it a personal thing, I guess. I don't know why, but I've only seen that part of the movie and I'm never going to watch it. So I'd rather just watch the movies he was inspired by and ripped off. Be that as it may, he gets Lo Sing gets a shot in on Kato, but he gets hit 4 times in the solar plexus. Down he goes. Now the movie is cropped into like a 1.66 to 1 presentation, so you lose some headshots or tops of heads here and there, but it's not too noticeable unless you're looking for it. I doubt anyone in the theater thought so. I would have gone to see this in the theater and been happy with it. In 1974, at 9 years old, oh yeah. And that's the end of the movie. They don't even have the meal at the end at the Golden Lotus that just stops and okay, let's go. So here are our directors, and what I assume if you can call somebody who's just chopping up bits and pieces. I wish I knew what episodes were in the second movie, but I doubt I'll ever see it. If it does show up, we'll review it. But my fellow agents, this is Shaolin Saturday for today. And tomorrow we'll be reviewing The Mummy since Sven Gullit 1959 with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, the Hammer version, though it's more based on the sequels than the 1932 Boris Karloff version. So, until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out. Oh, I forgot to put some music in here. There we go.
Bruce Lee as the incomparable Kato, king of Kung Fu. Van Williams as the Green Hornet. See him play the game of death. The dragon enters the den of the secret Chinese cult. Bruce Lee in his most exciting adventure. Kato, invincible against the terror of the Tang. Bruce Lee is Kato. No one can stop him. See the fury of his flying feet. Bruce Lee, in his most famous role, battles the fanatical Lo Sing in a kung fu fight to the death. Bruce Lee is Kato in The Green Hornet, coming soon to this theater.